Good morning, everyone. I'd like to officially call the meeting, the second interim meeting of licensing and occupations to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Berg, Senator Douglas,
Present.
Senator Higdon, Senator Howe, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Meredith, Senator Nemus,
Present.
Senator Nunn, Representative All,
Here.
Representative Banta,
Present.
Representative Callaway,
Present.
Representative Kleins,
Here.
Representative Dietz, Representative Donworth,
Here.
Representative Pfister,
Here.
Representative Flannery, Representative Gentry,
Here.
Representative Hampton, Representative Heverin,
Here.
Representative Huff, Representative Jackson, Representative Kulkarni, Representative Meredith, Representative Neighbors,
Here.
Representative Raymer,
Here.
Representative Smith, Representative Wilson, Co-Chair Rocky Adams, Chair Cook.
Here. First item on the agenda, approval of the minutes of the June 18th meeting. We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion's approved. All right, let's go straight into Representative Emily Callaway. She's going to continue on. We started this last meeting, just a reminder for everyone as we go through some of our boards and get updates and find out the good, bad, and the uglies. You've been with our friends, the land surveyors and engineers. Looking forward to your testimony.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Representative Emily Callaway for the record. And I did speak with State Board of Licensure for Professional Engineers and Land Surveyors. And I'm just going to kind of stick to the questionnaire as much as possible so we don't veer. So the biggest challenges that the Board Commission currently faces, they don't have any major concerns. The budget looks good and applications for licensure numbers are good. Hiring personnel is a bit of a challenge. Any obstacles that prevent from achieving your goals effectively? There were no obstacles. They are working on a new goal. They're going to offer a scholarship program. So they're in discussions with the Finance Cabinet to draft some legislation. We'll touch on that, I think, a little bit more, but be watching for that. They would use cash reserves and payment from penalties to help out scholarships to those who are wanting to pursue that career. So employees, they have 10, and they do feel like that's sufficient. Staff and resources, where are the gaps, if any? The only gap mentioned was with investigators. That's apparent in our backlog, but they do have two pretty good applicants that they're looking to fill the second investigator position. So they're going to be tackling some of the backlog issues that we're seeing. So they're optimistic there. Any legal or regulatory barriers hindering? They don't have any concerns. The ratio of licensees to the number of investigations a year. About 20,000 licensees to about 134 cases were filed in 2024. So at the beginning of 2024, there were 94, and at the end of 2024, there were 96 that were open. So breaking about even there. If your board issues an occupational license, approximately how long does it take for approval? For the initial license, it's about 5 to 7 business days. And then turnaround for endorsements, which they're licensed elsewhere, it's 10 business days. Does your board or commission have any vacancies? So that's a board of 11. They currently have 1 vacancy, and that is the citizen at large. They had a guy that was really, really qualified. Unfortunately, he rolled off. You got to stay off for a term. So they're hoping to possibly get him back, talk him back into that. But that's the only absent member right now. Do you believe the stationary makeup of your board or commission is efficient? It's sufficient for their needs. Are there any emerging issues or trends that your board or commission needs to be prepared for? So we had a discussion about AI. The licensee will be held accountable for his or her use of AI and the accuracy. UK and KYTC are working on digital options, so they have digital design products, digitally submitted, and digital plans, and how these items, so instead of having paper, how these items can be certified, how they can can they avoid alterations of these items. But we also want to take full advantage of the innovative ideas and fewer errors, simplifications, and just offering the digital options as well. So just cautionary tale, but optimistic there as well. Additionally, I inquired about the NC's results and where Kentucky ranks nationally with those. For the FE, our pass rate's 88% compared to nationally a 59% pass rate. The PS test, they have a 100% pass rate versus a national 62% pass rate. And the FS, that was 88% versus a national of 59%. So that's the fundamentals of surveying. And so the board is seeing an increase in the number of licensing rates from the past years, but they are seeing more qualified individuals. He said they're actually ready to hit the ground running. We seem to have some really qualified individuals, well-rounded individuals as well. So that was optimistic. So just numbers, 2024, they had 1,100 endorsement applications and 250 initial applications. Those were primarily Kentuckians.
Okay, and I see we have a couple engineers with us, so guys, just stick your hand up so we can put a face with, both boards can do it, that's fine, yeah, there's two separate boards represented there, but that's great. And I do have one thing, talking with them, I was asking about compacts and everything goes on, and they have a relationship, you might want to come forward, explain this briefly, if you don't, it'd be a good idea for everybody to see your face. If you just introduce yourself for the record and then tell what your relationship is with other states' engineers coming in.
Hello, I'm Kyle Elliott. I'm the Executive Director of the Board of Licensure for Engineers and Surveyors. So we do not have compacts with other states. We license engineers and surveyors by what's called endorsement. It's also sometimes called comity or reciprocal licensing. But endorsement is they have to have other licensees endorse their application. In other words, verify that they've been doing the work they say they're doing and that they're qualified. They have to meet our requirements as far as the examinations and the education. It's a really simple process, and as Emily stated, our turnaround on the endorsement applications is 10 business days, so 2 weeks.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions about land surveyors or engineers? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is actually asking about advancements. Our area has been spending a lot of investment in young people on drones. Is this something that your organization on the surveying, maybe even the engineering, is trying to tie into with the education side of it for surveying using the drone, and also the new PVA maps that are out that they've done statewide on aerial pictures statewide? Could you kind of give a brief on both those, how they're helping in survey? We have a shortage in our area in surveying, and I was just wondering, we're trying to encourage young people to get into fields through the drone work, education through drone. Is that something you could speak on or give us maybe a brief on?
Sure. The universities that are teaching the surveying courses now, East Tennessee State University is probably the most prominent in our area, but Cincinnati State as well. They have programs where they get experience using the drones. They can also work towards their FAA, some certain license they have to operate the drones. Some of the newer technology includes drones with scanners, digital scanners, drones with LiDAR, and that's all stuff the students are coming away from school with hands-on experience with. PVA mapping, I don't know anything about that, I'm sorry. So.
All right. Seeing no other questions, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Emily, thanks for the update on that. And let's roll right into your bill. This is employment occupational issues. It's not new. What is this? Will this be our third session we've
Yes.
discussed this? So I'll let you talk about brief update on what's been in the past and what you've changed for this year.
Okay, so we are looking at just removing barriers to get individuals who have a criminal record back on track, get them back in our workforce, because we know that 94% of individuals that are currently incarcerated will re-enter the workforce. A lot of them are going through different trades. We want to make sure before they invest in their time and energy in these trades, in this education, that they are not going to be automatically disqualified due to what their criminal record shows. So we've come at that different ways where we've looked at it in the past. Again, hiring authority and occupational licensing boards are grouped together. So this will include public sector hiring, which is about 15% of our workforce, and then 20% of our workforce is occupational licensing. So we're talking about both of those here. So we tried to keep it wide enough to not pigeonhole agencies or boards. Some don't even ask that question, so we didn't want to make them ask the question if they weren't already. Some of their turnaround times vary based on, for example, the engineers meeting quarterly. We want to make sure that we give them ample time, but without leaving someone hanging on the line. So those are some of the things that we're tackling now, dealing with individual agencies. So far, I have not heard any kind of pushback. I've got nothing but, I hate to say accolades, but support for it so that we can get it implemented quickly. We have a lot of people that are really kind of hanging on the line about it. We want to get roughly 30,000 people back to work if we could, put them back and not just working, making fries, but actually put them in an occupation. Not that there's anything wrong with making fries, but we want to put them in a good occupation, on a good path. So this time what we're looking at is an upfront, if an individual wants to inquire upfront, will I be automatically disqualified from pursuing, or will I be disqualified? Would this offense disqualify me? They would send in their background, their, whatever offense they're concerned about, their criminal background and their license, and submit that in writing. And then the board would say, you know what, we have concerns, but you can submit these items. And it's an exhaustive list of what they can submit that the board will consider, again, in a timely manner. And then say, we still have concerns, and these are the reasons why. So we've given them a due process. The board can still land on, we don't feel comfortable with this, but these are our validated reasons why. We've explained it in detail based on evidence why. Or yes, we acknowledge you have a record, but we see that it was 27 years ago, you're back on track, you've had no offenses, we don't have any problem. And then that would be bonding on that board. So as long as there was nothing that was undisclosed, or there was nothing, not a new criminal offense, they would be binded that they would not be disqualified based on that. So then they can start the education process. They can invest their time and money being confident that they won't go through all that and then be disqualified because of some arbitrary reason. So that's what I'm looking at. If you have any suggestions or want to chime in on it, I'm always open.
Representative Callaway has certainly put in her due diligence and work on this bill, and I encourage all of you to check it out. If you've had questions on this in the past or problems, get with her. We've got 6 months to make our changes and get this there, and hopefully this can be a well-rounded, well-prepped bill with full support when we get to session. So thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Let's have Representative Fleming and Representative Wilner back with their psychologist bill.
Thank you, Chairman Cook and Chairman Adams. Ken Fleming, I represent the 48th District in Jefferson and part of Oldham County.
Lisa Wilner, House District 35 in Jefferson County.
You're right, Mr. Chairman. We're looking at reintroducing this coming spring on our in the session and so forth. Representative Wilner and I have worked on several mental health issues and trying to change the dynamics. Not only from a quality of care standpoint, but also from a profession and workforce. And this bill basically will help that out in terms of getting more psychologists into the field in order to provide those services and so forth. I'm going to let Representative Wilner sort of get in the particulars, since she's a psychologist. She knows much better than I do. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members of the committee, for having us. Rep. Fleming is exactly right. We serve together on the Health Services Committee, and we hear almost every meeting about workforce shortages, particularly in the area of mental health. So this is an update to the psychology licensing bill. This bill has, the licensing law has been in place since the 1930s, I think, and every now and then it needs a little refresher. So what and let me ask you guys, do you have the bill draft in your packet? We weren't sure if that was included in your
No,
materials or not.
it's email. We don't do the
Okay,
packets.
got it. So this is from this past session. It was House Bill 59, and it's bill request 887 for this session. It does three things. The first thing it does is it adds 2 additional members to the Kentucky Board of Examiners of Psychology. That's the licensing board. It would be 1 doctoral level member and 1 master's level member. And that's really to help with the workforce issues, to expedite processing, and this is going to become especially important in recognition of the mental health force needs of Kentucky. The psychology academic community has really rallied. We've got a new master's level program launching at Bellarmine this year. Next year, Spalding University is going to be launching a new master's level program. Eastern Kentucky University is adding a new doctoral internship at their counseling center. So these needs for efficient processing are just going to increase as the workforce grows like we want it to. So the 2 additional members. The second thing that the bill would do, the bill updates would do, establish a time period for licensure examinations. Right now, it is highly variable how long it takes for a license application to be processed. If you're lucky and you get it in exactly the right time and board members are available, it can be expedited pretty quickly. But if your timing is off, it can take months and months and months and months. And we have somebody ready to go who's not able to enter the workforce because of holdups at the licensing stage. And then the third piece it would do is just have an additional reporting requirement. This would be on the licensing board's own website to report annually on how long it's taking them to process both licensure requests and complaints against licensed psychologists. So that's the only 3 changes it would have. We had this bill last session. I think we'd love to see it across the finish line this session. We're not aware of anyone who has objections or concerns, but we wanted to, see if you guys have questions, concerns
All right,
about
any
it.
questions for Representative Wilner or Representative Fleming? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for being here today. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have ABC is with us here this morning, and while Ms. Taylor and Mr. Newton are making their way to the table, just briefly want to say these are 2 administrative regulations. These are amendments, so unlike most regs where you take no action, we will actually have to do a motion and do a voice vote to pass these. So I'll let her explain those, and then after we do that, we're going to have just a brief discussion. And I'll explain that here after let's go ahead and take the regs. If y'all, thank you for being here, and if y'all would introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you for having us, Chair Cook and Co-Chair Adams. I'm Allison Taylor. I'm the State ABC Commissioner.
And I'm Joshua Newton, General Counsel for ABC.
Thank you. The floor is yours. I'll let you explain your 2 regulations. Shouldn't take too long. Not too much detail there.
All right, I'm going to let Joshua explain those.
So yes, with the passage of SB 202, there were some changes that needed to be made in order to allow sort of continuance of the industry for cannabis-infused beverages. One of those was for direct shipping. We wanted to make sure that it could move along as quickly as possible. So we added to the already in process forms regulations that we were amending, an amendment to allow the direct shipper form for the cannabis-infused beverages. So that's where this is right now. Essentially, this is for direct shipping of cannabis-infused beverages.
Motion on the regulation.
There's we're going to do both at the same time. We can do both regs in one motion. So it's a motion to approve agency amendments.
I make a motion to approve the agency amendments.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Okay, now, I'd like to have an open discussion, and we're not holding anybody to anything today, But as we talked with the cannabis infused beverages, and we're going through that, I think it brings up a bigger discussion. And I've talked with a lot of members about this. Is there a need, and what would it look like to create a division of ABC to include all intoxicating substances? And maybe intoxicating is not the right word, but we see, we've just seen more and more of these items that are popping up there, and we need somebody that's got the teeth, that knows how to do this. And ABC has done a fantastic job. They've been, I don't know how long ABC's been around, for a long time. You've been regulating, a product that can be harmful to our youth if abused. And I just want to have that discussion. What would that look like? Is that something that's possible for ABC to include that and open up another branch? And I most importantly want to get your thoughts on that subject.
Sure. So I appreciate being able to have input on this topic. ABC is the oldest statewide law enforcement agency in Kentucky. So I think we just celebrated our 90th birthday a couple years ago. So that said, primarily we've been doing law enforcement work related to alcohol. And then, as you know, tobacco later came along. Now, I guess in the last session, we had the cannabis-infused beverages. We also, to some extent, have the nitrous oxide that was banned. So our responsibilities have grown. The way that we are set up as an agency in statute, we have the ABC board, which is made up of the Distilled Spirits Administrator, Maggie Woods, who's here, and then the Malt Beverage Administrator. And that board only has authority over alcohol. So to create another section would require you all statutorily. We can't create a division within the office. And I was really lucky to get to work with Senator Higdon on our new division of tobacco and vape licensing, which was something we really needed to help us enforce the tobacco obligations that we already had. So I think however you want to structure it, it's something we could certainly be involved in. We have 40 officers for the entire state of Kentucky, so we're going to have to really look at every time we give them more responsibilities, it's more of their time, from just field reports to big investigations, whether it's shipping or bootlegging or whatever it is. And so at some point, we are going to have to start adding to their forces as we add to their responsibilities. And they are great officers, and most of you know whoever is your officer in your local community. So I can't really give a specific on how that would need to work. We are very committed to taking whatever you all ask of us and making it the best we can within the statutes. So the opportunity to be involved on the front end is really important to us.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, like right off the bat, we need to think about the board's going to have to be expanded. The role of ABC will have to be expanded by statute. The board's going to have to be expanded to include, the different areas, more investigating officers, funding, figuring out how we're going to do the funding to make those. I think, I know our A&R staff would say try to, self-fund it and work towards that. I think that would be a goal there. As we go through in the future, they're always going to outrun. Like I think we'll always be playing catch up. If we just do, okay, now cannabis infused beverages are here and then go to do it. We need to make this all encompassing. So whatever intoxicating substance that they come up with, and I don't know whether it's going to snort it, sniff it, shoot it, drink it, whatever, but we need to outthink that. We need to be ahead. And so that automatically would fall under the jurisdiction of an ABC is kind of where I'm going with this. And we've got several people that want to comment on this, and Singer Higdon with talking about tobacco and being the godfather of that. I'll let you go first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Commissioner. Thank you, and want to thank you up front, right off the top, but for your accessibility and working with you at your. Like I said, you're always accessible and you're dedicated to what you do. And like I said, Senate Bill 100, because with your help, turned into be a good bill, and it has teeth where we can get the bad actors. And speaking of bad actors, there's bad actors in this THC space, those with the Delta 8 synthetic products. And so, we need to look at all that because, we don't want to paint it with a broad brush where we include everybody, but we need to get those bad actors. And I appreciate you, working with us on that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. One other thing, in working with Commissioner, one of the things I realized I didn't know, and just for public information, ABC has a website. If you see someone selling alcohol to someone underage, And when the Senate Bill 100 goes in, when you see it goes into effect, when you see a convenience store or grocery store or anybody selling vapes or cigarettes to someone under 21, you can go to that website and report them, and ABC will investigate. So I think that's something that I didn't know, and I feel like I was fairly knowledgeable about ABC. But so just FYI, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Representative All.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually really agree with your snort it, sniff it, poke it, drink it, whatever. I mean, you're right. We're never going to catch up with the new thing, whatever that new thing is. So the broader we could do this authority safely without hurting businesses, I think is a great idea. My question would be your counterparts across other states. Are they seeing the same kind of issues? Do you have colleagues that, like other ABC commissioners across the state, what are they doing in other states? Is there a best that we can replicate, the kind of the broader authority that you've seen worked well in other states to kind of duplicate the effort?
I've not personally seen an overarching, we're controlling all of these substances through ABC. And I think it's just because different states, some states are a control state where alcohol runs through their government rather than in private industry. And so it's kind of hard to make that distinction across the board. We learned about the cannabis-infused beverages from legislators from Alabama. Was the first we had heard about it because they were seeing it there. So we are all trying to catch up as new things come along. Louisiana has a pretty good program with their vape registry and enforcement that way. So on different products, we do see some states sort of outpacing other states, but as far as across the board, I know kratom is a huge problem. I mean, we got a letter from someone in Colorado whose son died from a kratom shot, a shot of kratom, like an energy drink. And so different states are having different problems, and I've not seen anybody that's had an overarching sort of umbrella of regulation for all the products, just because of the different ways that states are set up.
Representative Donworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's been a little bit of discussion about the Farm Bill at the federal level and whether that may or may not close the loophole that allows for hemp. Could you talk a little bit about what that could potentially mean for us in Kentucky?
At this point, it's legal in Kentucky. I can't really say how that would affect us because I don't know specifically what their regulations are going to be. We don't regulate manufacturers, and so that would be more of an effect, on the manufacturer, obviously. But I don't know exactly how that would affect our law and whether we would be preempted or we'd have to go back and make some changes.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just trying to contemplate on the discussion that we've been having. I mean, I think it makes sense to have industry representatives from the known industries, obviously, that we have out there, whether that be cannabis, tobacco, alcohol, and have specific divisions for those. I guess what I would wonder is, and I think we should probably delve into a little deeper, could we create an emerging industries division that would look at those additional things that come online, and maybe as they become real things or major concerns, then we add new divisions for them specifically, but have something that would have kind of emerging industry piece so that you all could be on the front line regulating those instead of us having to come back behind them. I would think would be probably the best way to handle that. Have the overall board look into those things, and then like I said, just have something, a framework in place for these emerging trends that we see that again we're kind of behind the curve on.
If that's something that you all wanted to set up, obviously we would be glad to be involved and to do that. It's kind of hard to say without something specific. I would say that all of the industry partners that we have, whether it's through their associations or there are plenty of retailers or wholesalers who just call me directly, they are really good about reaching out to us. It's not the bad actors who are calling and asking, what do I do? So the majority of industry across all of these are doing everything they can to stay compliant, and also want you all to know that it's our operation that when something changes, like the cannabis infused beverages or the vape laws, we go out and we do education first when we get a complaint, because a lot of these, especially mom and pop retailers, they don't know that Frankfurt changed the law. And so we do a whole lot of education with them. And so sometimes we get our education from them because they'll say, what about this product? And heck, I've never seen the product. So that would be maybe a good idea of a way for us to work with the industry to be able to know what's coming up.
Representative Meredith, follow up.
Just a quick follow-up on that. One of the things that I've been thinking about a little bit as well, obviously this committee deals a lot with gaming and things of that nature, and we've had some of the same kind of things pop up in that space where new technologies have popped up there. People start investing money in those things. And do we need, in some statute dealing with these emerging trends, to have something specifically that says that anything not named and not regulated by ABC is expressly illegal unless we make it legal in those spaces as well? I know that's hard to craft language like that, but it's something I've been contemplating on the gaming side with some things that are going on as well. And I think it's something that we might need to try to get ahead of and work on. Because we don't want people coming into the state and making investments and then us coming back and taking those investments away from them going forward. But we also want to have a clear structure that we don't want you investing money in something that is a gray area and nobody's looking at or regulating either. And so I think it just providing some clarity there could be helpful in all of these emerging spaces.
Good point. I appreciate the discussion, and this is simply to start a ball rolling. We've got several months, so I'm going to start churning this thing. Any and all are welcome to join in and throw in some thoughts and see where this leads us, and look forward to working with you guys, hopefully, and try to craft something, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but I think we need to, it's okay that nobody else has done it. Kentucky can be first.
Right, absolutely.
We'll be groundbreaking, see what happens here. So, all right. Any other business? Oh, record that you're here. We got you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by